welcome to this week's The Story of a Poor Boy. I'm Mikey.
I'm Matt.
I'm on death's door. Spent yesterday very, very ill, but I am powering through because, we need to at least have some episodes done this year.
And I watch zero football this weekend, and I'm here too.
Yep, so this is not going to be particularly long, it's not going to be particularly in-depth, but it's going to be done. So Liverpool this week struggled to a 1-0 victory over Huddersfield away. It's not by any means the most convincing victory, but 3 points at the end of the day is all that we're playing for.
Yep. Just need to get the points on the board. We did that. Apparently Salah was the worst player on the pitch, but he gets his goal. What more can you ask for, really, I guess? Obviously, we want to see the front three being fluid. Obviously, only one out of the front three started today, with Lallana and Sturridge instead. And it is a little bit worrying that we haven't found that fluency yet. But a couple more weeks, fingers crossed, once we get into this run of games that are a little bit less intense than the last one, we start to come out of our shell a little bit.
I think a lot's being said about this result in particular, and it's only a 1-0 victory. Liverpool weren't great, didn't get anywhere near started, and yet we do come away with a win. It's very, very easy to forget as well that we're on the back of an international break. Liverpool didn't have a full squad back until Thursday, so the Brazilian lads don't get back until the early hours of Thursday morning, which means they probably didn't train Thursday, so we're probably looking at their first training being Friday.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to prepare for any kind of away game or any kind of setup when you have that little time. And let's not forget Huddersfield, with the best will in the world, Huddersfield aren't a team full of international footballers. They're a team full of the occasional one. But Liverpool, most of our first 11 went away, with the exception of James Milner, I guess. So it's difficult to gauge anything from this game in that respect. Could have went differently on a different day, but Mo Salah does what he spent all last season doing. Hasn't spent too much of this season doing, but still, I suppose that's a sign of a top quality footballer. Fernando Torres used to have games like that all the time, where he was just disappointing for 90 minutes, but then he'd get one chance in that 90 minutes, and Liverpool would be winning because of it. The other thing as well, of course, is that the first 11 that starts isn't exactly, well, from the midfield and forward point of view anyway, it's not exactly the players who are used to playing with each other this season.
It's quite a changed 11, which I kind of predicted, but I think it was more forced due to the injuries.
You did say we'd rotate for this, and I said I'd expect us to go full guns blazing. I
guess we were both right, because we rotated, but we did go as strong as we could.
I think that's the thing. I think Mane, if Firmino doesn't get back as late as he does, and Mane
doesn't do his finger,
doesn't hurt his hand yet, then I think Liverpool come out with the front three starting, and we're all looking at this like, oh yeah, well, that's as strong as we can go. But the circumstances have dictated Liverpool had to go in a different direction. So Liverpool start with Alisson in goal, Joe Gomez, Dejan Lovren, Virgil van Dijk and Andy Robertson, and then a midfield three of, originally it was thought it was going to be Lallana, Henderson and Milner. Then we see Shaqiri actually start centre midfield. Salah and Sturridge make up the rest of the team. But yeah, that swap between Lallana and Shaqiri was fascinating because I don't think anybody saw that coming at all.
No, because no one's really seen Lallana as like a front three player since Klopp's come in, really, because he immediately moved Lallana back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or at least once he had a full pre-season to work with, he moved Lallana back into midfield to allow him more space on the ball to pick out the passes. Maybe Shaqiri is the new one that he wants to do that experiment with, and have Lallana back up in the front three.
I think he sees Shaqiri in very much a similar mould to Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yeah.
In the fact that he's gifted enough to just break the lines and to create chances. And, I mean, if I'm honest, I think watching this game, you just get a feeling about Xherdan Shaqiri. He is immensely talented. And there are a couple of occasions where the final ball just wasn't quite there. But he needs consistency about him. He needs minutes about him. But I think Liverpool have got could be the team where we finally see the potential of that kid who was starting for Bayern Munich when he was 20.
It's mad how intelligent he looks with the ball. Like some of the passes that he seems to just find are ridiculous.
And the ball to set up Mo Salah for his goal is a really nicely weighted ball. Comes from Joe Gomez, just passing it through the lines into Shaqiri.
Yeah, it's a really, really good pass from Gomez.
It's literally two passes. Liverpool break both the midfield line and the defensive line, and Salah slots it in. And from there, it looked like Liverpool were going to go, plain sailing. And then Huddersfield have got other opportunities throughout the game to get back into it, but it's one of those where you still don't ever expect Liverpool to concede. And I know Huddersfield have great chances, but I didn't at any point expect to see Liverpool concede, which was probably testament to how good Van Dijk and Alisson have actually been since they come in. How settled our defence looks as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I wouldn't be concerned on this result. It's if Liverpool, the stats are going to look back. Liverpool got 3 points, and that's all that matters from this. Yeah. There's a couple of instances where, as I mentioned, Huddersfield maybe could have had the penalty from Milner.
Not for me, because it comes off of his. It comes off of his leg, but it's one of them where you see him giving into it.
I think I'd be absolutely furious if it was given against us, but absolutely furious if it wasn't given for us.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah, it happens in footy. Teams at the top get a bit more luck, and you only have to look at Man City Burnley to see that this weekend as well.
This is true.
It happens, doesn't it? And then Hogg hits the post from 30 yards out of an absolute screamer. They have a goal disallowed for offside, which on another day doesn't get given as offside.
It's an interesting one because so the talk about it is it either comes off Huddersfield player or Lallana, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like an unnatural place for Lallana to try and place a header.
Yeah.
Which is why the offside that should have been given offside but never was never given in the City game in the Champions League. Because it just looked so unnatural for James Milner to do. Mm-hmm. And this kind of looked unnatural for Lallana to do.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can see why, if
it has hit Lallana.
If it has hit Lallana, I can see why it hasn't been given. Because it is just a weird one.
On Adam Lallana, he did have flashes of being a very good footballer like we remember him being, but the fitness just didn't quite look there. He has to be taken off by the looks of things. Do you see Lallana fitting in a lot more?
If he can remain fit, like Sturridge, if he can remain fit and build up his fitness, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Especially if Shaqiri is going to be the player that's dropping into the midfield more. Maybe Lallana can fill in on the wings for Mane or Salah every now and again.
I can't imagine anyone worse than that, to be honest. But it's purely because I don't see Adam Lallana as a winger. I don't think he has the pace to do what we want.
He's not a winger, but he could be like a wide cam, I guess. Like kind of what Mane does a lot now when he's not using his pace.
I was about to say, but a lot slower. I can see what you're saying, and it's nice to have that option, I guess. But when you've got Divock Origi sat on the bench instead, do you know what I mean? If you're going to be playing that kind of thing, I probably would prefer to see Origi get minutes out wide. It'll be nice to see Lallana get time again. I don't see him fitting anywhere near Liverpool's best 11 like he was a couple of years ago.
No.
It's just, I think that ship sailed.
I don't think he's one of the first 3 subs when everyone is fully fit as well.
He fits into the first 18, I think.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. Yeah, he's not in the first 11. Probably not the first 14. Yeah, you're probably right there.
Yeah.
Which, it's a bit of a shame for him. Injuries go that way, don't they? Look at Daniel Sturridge, who I thought was absolutely fantastic for the first 20 minutes of the game, and then he just tired. And you can just kind of see, Klopp said that afterwards, he's not used to playing 90 minutes of football.
It's interesting that Klopp's making him play 90 minutes of football. You'd think that maybe he'd perhaps build him up, or do you think it's perhaps maybe Firmino was just exhausted from his
Well, I mean, he brings
trips to
Bobby on.
South America. Yeah, no, he does, but Sturridge plays an awful lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, I didn't expect him to bring Firmino on in the way he has. I was expecting him to do the straight swap.
Yeah.
And instead we see the two of them playing together instead. I mean, it's probably a bit more... We needed Bobby for the last couple of minutes to just hold the ball a bit further up. James Milner felt a tweak as well, apparently, which is why he had to come off.
Well, he did come back from injury in record time.
Exactly. Basically, it was like he was still playing for Man City, how quickly he came back from that injury. I mean, it's a bit of a concern to see Milner go back off. Jordan Henderson also goes off with a tight hamstring in the 45th minute, which I suppose it's nice that Lallana's back at this point in time. Fabinho gets minutes as well. Looked very good. He's a very good footballer, you know.
Yeah.
He just put himself about and just played some lovely passes. He has a game intelligence about him, which I'm just really looking forward to see.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see him play at the heart of the midfield and properly dictate the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's definitely something we can look forward to towards probably between now and Christmas. To be honest, I would expect to see Fabinho getting a run of start at some point in that run of games.
I think it might not be until after Christmas. Robertson never came in properly until after Christmas.
There's a lot of games.
Neither did Oxlade-Chamberlain, though.
There's a lot of games, though, between now and Christmas.
True.
Where
there were a lot last year.
And also, as I've just said, Henderson goes off with a tight hamstring. Milner, obviously, already.
Yeah, that might force his hand.
Might force his hand, indeed. There's not much to talk about in the second half, to be honest, except for Liverpool being extraordinarily wasteful. A lot of chances that could have been taken, and as Klopp alluded to in his comments as well, Liverpool's the final pass just wasn't there.
Yeah, just one or two passes away.
Yeah, which is just the story of Liverpool's season so far, I guess, in the final third.
It'll click.
If
we keep saying it will happen.
That's the thing. No, if we can kind of shoehorn Xherdan Shaqiri into the Oxlade-Chamberlain role, and he can learn a bit more defensive discipline, which he was doing yesterday. He was always tracking back. Not yesterday, Saturday. Sorry, he was always tracking back, always looking to win the ball back. I think it's a matter of time before we see Liverpool knock 6 or 7 past someone. Might be Red Star at home. You never know. Probably more likely going to be Cardiff next weekend.
You're probably still hungover from the first win.
So I think Liverpool, it is a matter of time. And as long as Liverpool are still keeping clean sheets and defending as incredibly well as we are doing. I mean, we're talking about a team who's conceded 3 goals this season, one of which is a mistake from Matt Allison, one of which is a world-class finish from the best player in the Premier League at the moment on form, and another one's in the 91st minute from Lamela, from a corner where the ball's just bouncing around. What can you? Teams aren't making chances against us. It's
exactly what you want when your attack isn't fully on form.
Yeah, exactly, and even the Lamela goal comes from a corner.
Yeah,
teams aren't making clear-cut chances against us, and teams are struggling to break us down. And exactly what you've just said there. Teams, they're struggling to make any opportunities. We're on for our best best defensive season. I think we're projected at the moment to concede 13 goals across the season.
Excellent.
Which would be the best ever in the Premier League.
Yeah, it beats Chelsea's 15 in, was it 04?
04-05, I believe. Yeah, Mourinho's first season, 04-05. Which,
that'd be lovely, wouldn't
it? It would be lovely. I mean, we are at the moment running the risk of being the first ever team to remain unbeaten for a season and finish second.
Shut up, it's not happening.
It would be classic Liverpool, wouldn't it?
It would a little bit.
Liverpool break the 100-point barrier this season and finish second.
Thing is, we are going through this bit of a run of form where we aren't fully firing, but we're still level with City, who look to be like they are fully firing. Like they've got Kevin De Bruyne back, they just won 5-0 at the weekend, they keep battering teams all over the shop. We're still level, and we've pulled away from Chelsea, only 2 points, but we are ahead of Chelsea now. When it starts properly clicking for us, I can see us pulling away. I see us pulling away.
I know we said this a couple of years ago about Liverpool when we were when Chelsea ran away with the league. And there was a point just after Christmas where Liverpool were, I think, 6 points behind them, and Chelsea had won like 15 games on the bounce. And it was like, imagine winning all those games and looking over your shoulder and Liverpool's still there.
Yeah.
It's the same this season, I think, with City, where City are just smashing 5 or 6 past teams when at will at this point in time, and then they look round and Liverpool level on points with them, and Liverpool haven't set the world alight at all. Liverpool are very, very much due to do that at some point soon.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of stress on the City team the second that a result doesn't go their way. Hopefully that can be Spurs next week. Hopefully.
That's the one I've predicted as their loss.
Well, we'll see, won't we? I don't fancy anyone against United this season either, now after what Mourinho did to Chelsea this weekend, so very, very close to unsettling Chelsea.
I mean, I fancy us against United, to be honest, but...
Yeah, well, it's just, what I mean is, they could throw a wild card up anywhere.
Oh, true, yeah, they are a strange
he loves
team.
He loves the result at Anfield as well.
He does indeed.
Yes. I think that's it for Huddersfield chat, to be fair. So, my man on the match would be Xherdan Shaqiri, because he just created so much going forward. It looks so good, and I'm very excited to see him progressing and hopefully adopting that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain role a little bit more. It's like we've basically just given Chamberlain a role, as in like, oh yeah, this. It's like the Makelele role. Do you know what I mean? So, with a look towards Wednesday, then I guess Liverpool, Red Star Belgrade. How do you see Liverpool lining up?
Well, hopefully it's not a serious issue with Mane, and Firmino's going to have some time off. So I think we're going to go all guns blazing, having the front three, and maybe it might be a little bit of a depleted midfield because we don't know how long Keita's out for. But yeah, I think we're going to go as strong as we possibly can to try and get that win. Because I think the win against Belgrade, we need to win both of them. I think they're vital to us progressing in that group, possibly progressing as first. So I don't think we're going to take much chances. And it's only I very nearly said it's only Cardiff at the weekend, but it's Cardiff at the weekend.
Yeah, it's Cardiff. They're pretty high after the first win, though.
Yeah,
you can't underestimate any team in this league.
No, true. But I think we've got enough about us to play both of them and win both of them. Just about at our strongest.
Yeah, And
especially seeing as we've got next midweek off because we're not in the League Cup.
Yeah, I think this. I did say this, didn't I? This is a good chance for Liverpool to put the strongest 11 out. That's why I expected us to do it against Huddersfield, but obviously circumstances dictated otherwise. But,
yeah.
Put the best team out for this game, and then there are players who, if you rest them, they don't play again until we play Arsenal.
Yeah.
And then there's a big break there.
It would be interesting if we had the front three playing and Shaqiri in midfield.
Yeah.
I'd be really, really interested to see that.
I think this is the game to do it, and I would also expect this to be the game that Trent Alexander-Arnold comes back in for.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Alexander-Arnold's going to come back in. He's had a bit of a rest. Gomez has done great down right back. But does Gomez keep his place in centre midfield, or does Lovren?
Centre midfield.
It's centre defence, sorry. I'm very tired.
Yeah. I would probably expect it to be Gomez centre half, shift them over. Might see. I doubt it very much. You might see Moreno come in for Andy Robertson as well. You never know.
Oh God, please no.
I know. But yeah, I would expect it to be Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robertson. Midfield three, I would love it to be Fabinho this game.
I want to see Shaqiri. I really want to see Shaqiri. Maybe Gini at the base, and one of Henderson and Milner alongside Shaqiri.
I don't see him taking chances on Milner, if I'm completely honest. If Milner's come off, and the same for Henderson to be fair, but if Milner's come off and he's come back from injury 5 weeks earlier than he was predicted to, I don't see them going, play 3 games in 7 days then.
No, okay, fair enough. So maybe it's Gini, Shaqiri, and
I think there's a slot in there for Lallana or Fabinho, to be honest.
yeah,
I would, in a game like this, I'd probably look to give Fabinho the minutes, because I think Fabinho, with the ability he already has, if he just gets his foot on the ball and just shifts it around the same way Jordan Henderson does, then we will move teams about and we will break teams down. And if Red Star turn up for that kind of game, then with that kind of setup, then Liverpool are going to benefit from having someone of that ilk playing there. So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him starting at the base with Wijnaldum further up, and then Shaqiri playing the Chamberlain role, as we've said. And then the main front three, maybe Mane's not back for this game, so maybe instead we'll see Lallana play there again. Who knows, basically. Only time will tell. But it's hugely exciting. It's a game Liverpool do have to win, I think, as well. At Anfield in particular. Draw's not good enough. Loss is unthinkable, really.
Against the fourth pot team in the group, anything but 2 wins is just not good enough, I don't think. Especially at home. And I'm excited for the game. It feels like it's been ages since I've been to Anfield because of the international break, and I'm going to miss Cardiff at the weekend because I've got a wedding to go to. So this is my only home game for a while now. I'm expecting a big result. I'm expecting a big atmosphere.
Yeah, I would hope so. It's one of those where if Liverpool get off to a flyer early, then everyone will be in a good mood. If Liverpool don't, then it just starts getting a little bit nervy.
As we want to do. We're very good at being nervy.
This could be the game though where it clicks, and we see Salah get 3, and all of a sudden there's no problems anymore.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Would be nice.
Would be, wouldn't it? Predictions? Don't say 7-0.
8-0.
Fair enough. I walked into that one, I guess.
I win.
Okay, done. I'm going 4-0.
Okay,
I think Liverpool are going to knock a few past them. Not as many as PSG did, but I think there's a good couple of goals in this for Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's basically all of Liverpool's match day stuff I wanted to talk about.
Well, we got Cardiff for the weekend as well, but
I suppose we got Cardiff, but it all depends on what happens at Red Star.
It's kind of the same conversation as well.
Yeah, exactly. It really is.
Another 8-0.
Yeah, we'll talk about both those games next week, and then we'll look at Arsenal as well. I do want to ask you, before we sign off this very short episode, we're only on 23 minutes at the moment. Ooh. Yeah, so if I want to just talk about the rumours surrounding Divock Origi, and Alberto Moreno as well. We spoke briefly, I think. Did we speak about Moreno, or was that a different time?
No, we did.
Right. Yeah. So it looks like Moreno's going to be seeing his contract out.
Yep.
As we've said. Also, another one is Divock Origi. So Divock Origi's rumoured now to be going to about 4 or 5 different clubs in January. One of them is Crystal Palace, another one's Everton.
Yeah, I heard Everton today at work.
Yeah, Newcastle. I can't see Liverpool selling to Everton. Newcastle's one. I linked him with Huddersfield earlier today because I think Huddersfield are crying out for someone like him. His Liverpool career has been a real enigma, hasn't it, Origi? Because there's been points in it where you're just like, yeah, you're good at football, and then there's points where you're just like, what do you offer?
He hasn't been as he was since the 15-16 season when he
Funes Mori.
Yeah.
It'd be ironic, really, wouldn't it, that his career is derailed so much to the point that he is signing for Everton because of Funes Mori. I can't see him going there, to be honest. I don't think
No, it's complete bollocks.
Yeah, Liverpool. I can't see Liverpool doing that. I can't see Everton shelling out 30-40 million quid for him either. To be honest, cheap bastards. But especially after the money they spent in the window.
Yeah, true.
I think he's a natural fit for Crystal Palace because he was a natural replacement for Benteke for us, really. So it would make sense.
He's got a bit more about him than Benteke though. Benteke's a little bit of a one-trick pony. Origi's got a little bit more in his locker.
Yeah.
I think alongside Zaha, he could be quite good.
Yeah,
Zaha
definitely.
suffers without a competent striker to play off.
No, definitely.
Crystal Palace would make sense. Again, Huddersfield would make sense. I think he is a good player. I definitely think Origi's a good player. I just don't think he's a Klopp player, and maybe he's not up to the quality of this Liverpool team. He's up to the quality of a mid-table Premier League team, and I think he'd be fine there. I think he'd thrive.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace, I think I agree. It's probably the best.
Yeah, I can't see Huddersfield affording them.
Yeah,
I can't see Newcastle pulling any money out of that. And they need to do something in January because they are going to go down. Their horrible
less
run
points
of games.
than Derby at this rate.
their horrible run of games is over now, and now they have to start picking the points up, and they just aren't doing it.
Yeah.
So it does need to happen at some point soon. But yeah, it's just interesting because it feels like the Danny Ings situation just 12 months later, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think with Origi, I think it's quite telling that he's the one that we're looking to move on permanently, and we're not looking to loan out Solanke or anything.
Yeah.
I think it is quite telling.
God, I forgot Dom Solanke existed.
Exactly. Yeah. Sturridge has forced himself to be in the picture again over pre-season. Solanke is around about somewhere. Yeah. I think Klopp said that he's got plans for Ryan Brewster when he comes back.
It must speak volumes as well for what Liverpool are planning to do in the summer, because when you think about what they're planning to do with the youngsters anyway, because when you think about Liverpool's attacking options at the moment, so our striking options are Bobby Firmino, Daniel Sturridge, Divock Origi and Dom Solanke at the moment.
Yep.
So Origi meant to be moving out in January. Sturridge's contract's up in summer. So if Sturridge isn't going to be offered the new deal, no murmurs either way really on that one, but if Sturridge wasn't to be offered the new deal, then Liverpool would find themselves in a situation where Liverpool only have Roberto Firmino and Dominic Solanke next season. So obviously that means that someone is going to have to come in, or someone's going to have to be promoted higher up.
I feel like both. I feel like someone would have to be promoted from the youth, and someone would have to come in as a signing.
But it would bother me if the only striker we have with proper Premier League experience is Bobby Firmino going into next season.
Yeah, no, it would.
So it would have to be someone in the Premier League as well. I mean, I don't know who. I'm not going to make up transfer rumours at this point in time. But it's just interesting to think that Liverpool might find ourselves in a bit of a predicament for that next summer. Hopefully Sturridge does get something. I think it's basically about whether Danny can prove himself. Whether he can prove that he's got the fitness to actually
do a season.
To last. Yeah, to do a season. And then if he proves that, then he'll get an extension, no problem. But other than that, going into a season with Firmino, Solanke and Ryan Brewster, as it would probably be, doesn't fill you with particular confidence, does it?
No, and it wouldn't fill the opposition with fear in their hearts.
Yeah, if anything
looking at the bench.
Yeah, if anything was to happen to Bobby, I think it'd just be like, oh, fuck.
I mean, in all likeliness, what would happen is Salah would move in to be a striker, and we'd play someone on the wing like Shaqiri.
But doesn't that mean that we probably need another winger as well?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we don't need another player.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what would happen.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a vacancy in this squad going forward for that kind of player now, when you think about it, because we all just kind of went, oh yeah, Sturridge, finally, fine, I'm back on that train, or whatever. But if Liverpool decide that next summer's the time for Sturridge to leave the club, and I'd be fucking devastated, because Liverpool losing Daniel Sturridge on a free transfer as well. And he would go to another club in the Premier League, and he would probably, if they can get fit, score 15, 20 goals next season. I mean, it's just conjecture at this point, really. There's no basis for it, but it's just interesting to think about, isn't it? If Origi does go in January, the situation Liverpool might find themselves in. It's probably another reason they didn't want to lose Danny Ings.
Yeah, but I think Klopp said eventually he backed down with Danny Ings and said, "Okay, fine, you do deserve football. I'll let you go."
Yeah, but this season would have been probably, for example, I think if we still have Danny Ings starts, will Lallana start yesterday on Saturday evening?
Maybe.
And I think Liverpool just go with that instead, and we play Ings on the wing. And I don't think there's much of a problem with seeing where Ings would have fit into this squad. I think that was Jurgen Klopp's goal. And instead, now you see Origi on the bench. I don't think Origi was ever part of the plan to still be at Liverpool this season. So I think you could have seen a scenario where Danny Ings was getting minutes this season, and then next season you look to play him even more frequently. Whereas Origi's just not that player. I don't think he fits in. As we've said, he's not a Klopp player.
Yeah.
Whereas Ings was the epitome. We all said it, didn't we? He was the epitome of a Klopp player. We were all expecting him to, catch fire the second he came back from injury. But yeah, all depends on whether Southampton get relegated as well, I guess.
On this, I've decided. It's a Timo Werner shaped hole that we've got in the squad, and
he's not coming in second.
We're signing him.
He's not coming in second fiddle.
Signing him.
I think it's a Nabil.
Warburton prediction.
I think it's
another one.
I think it's a Nabil Fekir shaped hole. To be honest, I think he comes in and he fills that void, because all we were hearing when we were linked with him, when we fucking 95% signed him, was how he could play across the front line, how he could play behind the striker, slot into midfield, play as the lone striker as well, if need be. And I think that someone of that quality who could just slot in was exactly what Liverpool are after.
Yeah, maybe.
Who could fill any slot, really. So I think there's a scenario where Fekir comes in and Oxlade-Chamberlain's back as well. And then we've got a winger there in Oxlade-Chamberlain who can fill in as well, across a variety of positions.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're looking at it and you're going, well, okay, so Firmino's not playing, but that means that Mane plays left wing, Salah plays up front, and then we see Oxlade-Chamberlain playing right wing and Fekir playing behind them. Or maybe the other way around with Fekir and Oxlade-Chamberlain. But you see what I mean?
Yeah.
There's enough about Fekir, if Liverpool can keep him fit, if Liverpool do eventually decide to go back to that. You never know. There's also, of course, Christian Pulisic.
Oh yes. Oh yes. The transfer rumour that will never die for me.
No, exactly. It's the exact same as Xabi Alonso's coming back every season.
I want him, and we're getting him. It's happening. It just makes sense.
It does make sense.
We have American owners. He is American.
It makes sense it makes too much sense from a financial standpoint. Liverpool would sell so many more shirts if they had an American footballer, and it's just a fact.
Do you reckon the fact we haven't done it is because he's actually shit, and we just don't know because we don't watch?
Let me have a look at his stats from this season,
because we're all just like, yeah, Pulisic. It just makes so much sense. What if he's crap?
He came on in the 66th minute for Dortmund on the weekend. This season he has played 5 games and got 1 goal in the league.
I mean, Salah's apparently rubbish, and he's got more than that.
Do you know what? He's never set the world alight though in any of his league campaigns. So
but
last season he got 4 goals in 32 games from the wing. It doesn't. I mean, I should stress it doesn't say here how many of those were substitute appearances or anything like that.
Fair enough.
But it's I don't know. He has been injured for the last 3 games apparently, and he's missed 6 games this season through injury already.
We're still signing him.
He missed 3 games from injury from at the start of August to middle of September, and then scored twice when he came back. One of them in the 90th minute. I mean, who knows? We're making it up as we go along here, really. But I mean, I wouldn't be against if Klopp wants him. Fuck it, why not? I think there's enough about him to. I mean, we saw it in the summer. He puts away a lovely goal past Liverpool, so why not?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's all about what Jurgen wants at the end of the day. I think and what Michael Edwards wants to do as well. I think we've seen enough about the pair of them in the last couple of transfer windows to suggest that they deserve complete faith in whatever they 100%. Decide to do. 100%. So why not? Do you want to talk about the rest of the weekend's games, or
only that I predicted that that Chelsea and United would draw. Which means I'm also correct in predicting that City will lose at some point in this run of games, and that we are going to win the league.
United was so close, so close.
I know. That's for one bit of football I kind of watched a little tiny bit of.
I was absolutely fucking seething as well.
Yeah.
I was sat there just like, I can't believe these cunts are going to win here, and we fucking had to score, and then it's absolute stunner in the 88th minute to get a draw, and then that goal comes about. Proper Chelsea getting a point back the way of champions and all that. All the things that we were saying when we got a point at Chelsea a couple of weeks ago, all that came straight back out. And then they pissed off Mourinho to the point where he was looking for a fight. It was great football. It's a great Premier League game. It really was.
I don't understand that Mourinho bit, because what was he going to do? Why is he standing up and squaring up to someone? Mourinho's a little fucking rat. I don't think he's ever been in a fair fight in his life.
Do you not think that's all he would have done? No, he'd have just got to a point where he'd have just stood.
What would he done if Chelsea's assistant coach went back at him? Would he just fall over and cry?
Don't know. He
try and poke him in the eye.
Sued him for assault or something like that. No, Mourinho, he's a bit of a rat, isn't he? But
I don't know. He's just. I think he's very rich. Having a go at him for celebrating in front of him, because
it was less him. No, to be honest, I mean Mourinho wasn't happy because
he gets up and starts on him.
No. I mean that bit fair enough, but that you can just excuse as it's the heat of the moment kind of thing. It does just happen. We've seen it plenty of times from our own manager. Do you know what I mean? He celebrates in front of.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it does happen. The thing that impressed me about Mourinho, and I don't like him at all anymore. I used to, but it's the fact that he just accepts the apology after the game. He's just not asked. He appreciates that these things happen in football, and he's right in his post-match interview as well, where they say you were involved in an incident, and he goes, "No, I didn't start this." He said, "Can you shed some light on your behaviour or something like that?" And he went,
"Your reaction."
Your reaction.
And he was like, "No, not my reaction."
No, not my reaction. I didn't start this kind of thing. And it is true that it is such an easy headline to make in. Oh, it's Mourinho doing this again, but Leicester are lining up weird there. Sorry. It is such an easy headline to make, and you do at some point you have to say there's no need for. There's enough about Mourinho already that you don't need to go looking for stories like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you don't have to be blaming him for things like that when it's not his.
And of course, I'm not blaming him for.
I'm not
for Chelsea.
I don't mean you. I mean the media.
Oh yeah, of course.
And you've got Phil Neville saying the assistant should be sacked and shit like that, and it's complete bollocks, really, isn't it?
But my thing is with Mourinho's reaction to the reaction is what? Maybe it's a heat of the moment thing for him as well, or maybe that because I don't know. He's been arcing on about respect a lot this season, and someone who demands respect like him and doesn't like being disrespected by the Chelsea assistant coach should give some out at some point in his life.
I think
at least once.
I think as much as it is that as well, I think the Chelsea fans' reaction really got to him as well. Because the Chelsea fans turn around and they start singing "fuck off Mourinho."
Yeah, no, I heard about that.
And if they're going to treat Jose Mourinho like that after Jose Mourinho won 3 league titles,
he's their greatest ever manager.
It'd be the equivalent of us doing it to Kenny Dalglish when he comes back with Blackburn.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
For them to do that, it shows a complete lack of class from the Chelsea fans. I assume it was just
did we ever expect any modicum of class from Chelsea fans?
No, of course not. But it's just you think they tend to treat their legends quite well. Their recent legends, because they haven't really got any fucking old ones, quite well in terms of Drogba, Lampard. They're stuck by John Terry through everything, and for them to do for them to treat Mourinho like that, I think he's right at the end to hold the 3 fingers up and just be like, I won 3 league titles here. He goes around the stadium going like that, and he goes, I won 3 league titles here.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can you forget about what he's achieved? Go on. Oh, he should score.
We should wrap this up and watch the game, shouldn't we?
Yeah, at some point we should, yeah. There was one question I wanted to ask you as well, because I enjoyed last week where we were just asking random questions at the end.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah. The last question I wanted to end on.
Go on in.
Because we've not speaking about the rest of the games this weekend. City won. that's all we're asked about.
Fuck 'em.
Everton won as well yesterday, which was the weirdest game. Like, Everton dominated, should have lost because they conceded the penalty and Miljevic missed it, and then just scored twice in 2 minutes, and that was it, game over. Yeah, other than that. So I wanted to ask you, I think we did cover this a while ago, but it was like when we were doing the Matchday Experience podcast last year at some point.
Yeah.
So, what's the best goal you've ever been in a stadium and witnessed?
I remember this one, yeah, because I think it's still Suarez at Norwich. Suarez v Norwich.
Which one?
The one where he...
so not the first one.
No, it's where he plays keepy-uppy over one of the defenders and then catches it on the half volley on the other end, and he can't even believe that he scored it. He's putting his hands to his face going, oh my fucking God, while we're all doing that as well. Yeah. And it was just ridiculous. It was insane.
I was stood there just going, nah, you can't do that. Nah, he's done it. Fucking ridiculous footballer. It's hard to disagree with that, to be honest. What a goal that was.
It's just like the amount of talent and the audacity to even fucking try it.
Yeah.
It's just it should be illegal. He should have been sent off. It shouldn't have been allowed. Like that poor Norwich player had a fucking family.
Yeah.
He's dead now.
I think you're probably right there. That's Suarez goal for me as well. But yeah, I had that question in my head last week and I couldn't remember what we were answering. I think it wasn't the best goal by any stretch, but the one that carries the most meaning for me still is Gerrard getting his hat-trick against Everton back all those years ago when he very nearly misses. And it was my first derby in the Kop. It wasn't my first derby and it wasn't my first game in the Kop, but it was my first combination of the two things, and it was just incredible to be there for.
I think that Norwich game was one of my first. I think it might have been my first game in the back of the Kop.
Yeah, it probably was because
my first game in the Kop was a 3-0 loss to Southampton.
I nearly banned you. I remember you were on my ticket, weren't you, that season? Yeah.
I just walked back in and he goes, "No refunds."
Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover this week, then.
Sad. We should do like a firsts and favourites episode, like favourite goals, favourite games, stuff like that.
Yeah, we should do.
From each season, maybe.
Yeah, we'll look at...
Because we can't just have every answer being Dortmund.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Yeah, alright, I reckon we'll do that for the international break.
Sound.
So in the international break in November, we'll look at doing that. That sounds good. Okay. So thanks very much for listening. A bit shorter than normal, but I'm sure you won't mind that too much. So if you could like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on all the usual social media platforms. They're all in our Twitter name because it saves me reading them out every week.
This is true.
But yeah, thank you very much for those of you who do still continue to listen. At some point we will put some proper... It's really hard to get a podcast going unless you're going to lash loads of money in it. We've realised this recently. Because, we've been doing this for a while now, and I think we're at a point where our number of episodes is about to pass our number of followers on Twitter. Which is obviously shite. But it's one of them. We did a Facebook advert a while ago, but other than that, we haven't really put much into it. So we'll look to do that at some point in the near future. So yes, stay tuned. Share what we are doing at the moment, and thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.